好 ，testing testing testing， 好，同事。
Good morning, members. It's really 10 a.m. according to our clock, and this is room 3. This is a meeting of the panel on financial affairs. Make sure you haven't gone to the wrong meeting. We have 63 members, and we've formed a quorum already, so we'll proceed to the election of the chairman. In accordance with ROP 77.6, if members are chairman or deputy chairman of any AOB related to this panel, you cannot be the chairman or vice chairman of this panel. ROP 77.7 states that no member can be the chairman or vice chairman of more than one panel. The security panel meeting is still going on, and if you nominate members that are already nominated in the security panel, please be reminded of the rule on no member can be the chairman, vice chairman of more than one panel. All right, we'll proceed to the election of the chairman of this panel. A valid nomination is one with 1 second and seconder the acceptance of the nominated member. I nominate Mr. Christopher Cheung, seconder. Mr. Chen Kim-po, seconds. Mr. Christopher Cheung, do you accept the nomination? I do, Chairman. Okay, we have one valid nomination. Any others? Mr. Dennis Kwok. I nominate Mr. Kenneth Leung. Any seconder, please? Ms. Tania Chen. You've been raising your head very hard. Okay. Ms. Chen seconds Mr. Kenneth Leung. Do you accept? I do, Chairman. All right, that's another valid nomination. Any others? 1, 2, 3. All right, nomination is closed. Number 1 is Mr. Christopher Cheung. Number 2, Mr. Kenneth Leung. We are going to vote by secret ballot. Please distribute the ballot papers now. Only members who are among the 63 can receive a ballot paper.
提大家呢，就因為
Please remind it. Just now, when I chaired another panel meeting, there was a ballot paper marked with a pencil. Please use the chop instead of a pencil. Pencil will render your ballot invalid.
得，我知得。好嗱，啱入嚟嘅63位成員裏邊嘅委員呢，如果你係未
If you're among the 63 here, if you haven't got a ballot paper, please raise your hand until you have received one from our staff. Is there any? If you've got a ballot paper, we can start our voting. All right, another member has just come in, please. We have many entrances to this room. You're among the 63 members of this panel. If you just come in and have yet to receive a ballot paper, please raise your hand until you have got one. Do we have any? I will count up to 5 and then it's closed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, distribution of ballot paper ends. Please. Can our staff collect the ballot papers from our members? You have to personally deposit the ballot paper into the box. Do not ask somebody else to do it. And before you have done so, please do not leave your seat.
嗱，一陣間咧，我哋收。
After we have collected all the ballot papers, I invite the two nominators, namely Mr. Lam Kin Foong and Mr. Dennis Kwok, to come out to monitor the counting.
唔好意思啊，邵議員，因為
Mr. Sheo, I'm sorry, voting is already closed.
(我哋派出幾多張？我哋派出咧50張。
53 ballot papers were distributed.
我再問多次，有
Once again, if you are one of the 50 members who have received a ballot paper, have you put it into the box? If you haven't, raise your hand, please. No? Okay. Mr. Dennis Kwok and Mr. Jeffrey Lam, please come out to monitor the counting of votes.
Please
mix the ballot papers.
唔係撈勻係即係保障嗰個不。
We have to mix the votes to ensure that it is really a secret ballot. Because some members feel that the identity of the voters may be revealed.
1號
Number 1.
1號
Number 1.
1號
Number 1. Number 1. Number 1. Number 1. Number 1. Number 2. Number 1. Number 1. Number 1. Number 1. Number 1. Number 2. 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 Number 1. 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 Please count once again.
OK， 好。
All right, we have distributed 50 ballot papers and we've collected the same number. Christopher John, number 133 votes. Mr. Kenneth Leung, number 270 votes. I declare Mr. Christopher John elected chairman of the panel. Please take the chair now. First, let me thank you for your support. I will do my part. This I promise. We'll now proceed to the election of the vice chairman for the panel. We'll now conduct the election of the vice chairman for the FA panel 2016-17. A valid nomination must be made orally by one member to be seconded by another. And the member nominated has to accept the nomination. Please proceed to nominate. Ms. Tanya Chen, yes? Me again. I'd like to nominate Mr. Kenneth Leung. Mr. Kenneth Leung, any seconder? Ms. Claudia Mo. Seconds. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? So, Mr. Kenneth Leung, do you accept the nomination? I do. All right. There is no other nomination. Mr. Kenneth Leung elected ipso facto. Chairman, Mr. Kenneth Leung. Mr. Dennis Kwok and myself have some suggestions for the future agendas.
講緊我想有一個咧，應該如果你可以有一個時間咧，希望你
If you have time, please include amendments to the proposed amendments to the Professional Accountants Ordinance. First, we will fix the schedule of meetings first. The next meeting is, and in fact, the schedule of our meetings is the first Monday. The schedule of meetings is already tabled. So we'll meet according to the proposed schedule. Do you have any comments? If there are none, then any objection to the Vice Chairman's proposal with regard to the discussion item for our agenda? Mr. Dennis Kwok, on our list of outstanding items, I've written in, hoping that we can include the public consultation of reform to our listing rules.
Well, the consultation being conducted by the SFC will end in November, so I hope that the SFC can come in December to give us a report on the improvement or reform on the listing regulations. I think this is very much a hot topic, and we all want to know the stance of the SFC, so we'll do it as much as we can. Well, the arrangement for November is this. It will be held on the 7th of November, a Monday. There will be 3 discussion items. One is the proposed creation of a non-civil service executive director position in the FSDC Secretariat of the Financial Services Branch of the Financial Services and the Treasury Bureau. So that's item number 1. Number 2 is the collection of levy on insurance premiums and various fees by the Independent Insurance Authority. And the third item is a briefing on the work of the Hong Kong Monetary Authority. But then for item 3, it seems that we can't do it. So on the 7th of November, we'll be discussing just items 1 and 2. Any views? Mr. Yip, you have a question? Mrs. Regina Yip. Well, my question is the same as Dennis Kwok. I don't want to repeat here. Ms. Alice Mack, in April this year, we have discussed the amendments to the Money Lenders Ordinance, and the new regulations will take effect this month. And the administration promised that they will come back to report on the progress. I hope that we can still put it on the agenda item, and that is we would be updated on the progress of the review on the Money Lenders Ordinance. So we'll arrange that. Mr. Charles Mock, there are 2 items that you can consider including it in the agenda. And that is the HKMA has asked banks to do some cybersecurity fortification program to strengthen the security measures in the internet world, and that includes training up personnel and so on, and that is going to impact greatly on the banks, and the IT sector is also concerned about it. So I hope that they can come and explain the situation to do it. The other one is fintech. Well, we've discussed much about how the government is coordinating the various policy on fintech. So can we ask the administration to update us on the progress? Because in November there is a fintech week to be held in Hong Kong. So I hope they can tell us what they propose to do, what are they going to do with regard to promotion internationally. I think that's a very good suggestion. We agree to discussing fintech. So can you write to us so that we can follow up with the relevant government officials? Are you suggesting that we should write to you on every item that we suggest? Well, because the item that you mentioned is rather complicated, it involves many government officials, so please put it in writing. That's better. Mr. Dennis Kwok. Ms. Alice Mack, talk about the money lenders ordinance. I remember in the last term, the government promised that would be an amendment. So through you, Chairman, can you ask the administration when they will be discussing this, or submitting the legislation for our discussion here at the LegCo? Mr. Abraham Shat. Many SMEs have difficulties in opening up bank accounts. They've dealt a blow, and that has an impact on Hong Kong's economic development. So I hope that this can be included as an agenda item. Perhaps we can ask the HKMA to explain to us how the policy is like. Is there a lot of misunderstanding? The SMEs can't do business because of this. So we are concerned about the suggestion made by Mr. Abraham Shack. The third item that we mentioned is a briefing by the HKMA. Maybe in that item we can ask the HKMA to explain more on that front. Okay, any other views? If other members have other suggestions on the agenda items, you can write to us. And maybe we can have a pre-meeting with the relevant officials, and then we can try to smooth things out. All right. If members have other views, please relay them to me, and we can maybe arrange special meetings to deal with that. All right, subject to any other views held by members. If not, then meeting adjourned.